We're going to talk about the Oculus Rift. I last week I unboxed it and I said, well, we're not going to do a show, but I loved it so much. I wanted to install it, and it basically was not as easy as I thought it would be. So it was something that I wanted to talk to you about, because that might be something that you didn't realize. So we're back. So yes, today we're going to talk about the Oculus Rift. We unboxed it last time, and this is actually the second installment in a three-part series on the Oculus Rift. It is too big of a product to do that in one episode of Tech Condo, so that's the reason why I just divided it into two. The first one is about the unboxing, which you can see, of course, on Facebook and on YouTube. But if you want to make it as easy as possible, then you just go to the website, and there you'll find, boom, the unboxing of the Oculus Rift. So that is also there, and you can actually click on it, and you have a little bit more of information that is coming your way as well. So that is for you to know that it's there. So yes, the installation of the Oculus Rift. Where to start? So at first I thought, well, I have a big computer, right? I mean, I'm streaming from the computer. The computer is barely touching the 20%. And I'm using two streaming software packages, Livestream Studio and vMix, and it's just not even touching the 25. So it's really, really, really stable. So I thought I had a very big computer. I actually have a very good video card as well. I actually looked at it, minimal requirements, looks great, perfect. USB 3.0, yep, I've got a few of them, like 5 or 6 of them, so I'm all good, right? So I started last week. Last week I had a holiday vacation, and I started to think about it and look about it, and said, well, let's install it. And what I actually did the first time around was that I actually use a HDMI cable, because it's a little bit longer than a DisplayPort cable, to this screen that is right in front of me, so that I can see what I'm doing, right? And the other one is a DisplayPort. So I thought, well, the Oculus Rift has an HDMI interface, so I bought a dongle. I thought, well, I can just go from DisplayPort to HDMI. And in all honesty, it perfectly works for this monitor. That is really the case. No issues there. Absolutely no issues. So that is great. But I didn't know at that time, so I thought the other way around. Now that by itself turned into a disaster. Wow. So my whole system crashed. Literally, not once, not twice. It didn't work at all. So one thing that I've learned is that you really, really need to have a direct HDMI connection to your Oculus Rift. Also, I will highly recommend to wait until the very last minute to connect the device. So as soon as it starts saying, now look at your screen, then you want to see it, even though you're actually doing a check prior. But we'll talk about it later. So that is something that I've also seen. Also, it's very, very, very picky about USB 3.0. It really wants to have the latest, greatest driver, but you really have to know Windows to understand what you need to install. So there's no pop-up saying you need to install this driver, or you have to go to this website and go do this. No, it just says you have to update your driver. Not very nice. So in all honesty, I was a little bit disappointed. about the quality of the installation, but but after 2 or 3 times, and when I decided to switch the connections of the monitor and the HDMI on the Oculus Rift, then everything became a little bit more manageable, but not perfect still. So what I did is that from the installation process, I actually created a video, a screen grab, in the hopes that I can give you some form of information on how it works, what you need to expect, and what can go wrong, right? So that is really something that I have learned now that it's really important to show. So I will do that later. But before I do that, I see a comment from Amy, which I want to address. So she says, by the way, I am over at YouTube commenting, but you're not seeing them for some reason. Sorry, Amy, I am seeing them, but it takes some time, and I only see 2 of them. So I see you saying you have comments over on YouTube, and the other one is, by the way, I'm over on YouTube commenting, but you're not seeing them. So those 2 are the only 2 comments that I see at this moment. And Jordan says, sorry I'm late. Hey, no worries, Jordan. It can happen. No worries at all. It's totally fine. Anyways, let's delve into the installation process. So let's go here. I have to prepare it a little bit. So let's do this and then boom. So this is the installation process that I have. And I have to occasionally go into the pause mode. So this is the first screen that you see after that you started up the setup routine. And it actually looks at, can I see the HDMI port of the Oculus Rift? Can I see the USB 3.0 port on the Oculus Rift again? And also the 2, now forget the name, but the remote sensors that it needs to see where you are with your hands and with your Oculus Rift. So it tries to track you. And even though the 2 of them are really great, I have seen that the more you have, the better you will have the better you will have the quality of the traction. I see Amy coming in. What I'll do is that I'll try to look on YouTube as well via the normal way, because I do want to see all the comments. The quality of the traction. So there you go. Yeah, Kermit is all, yeah, all right. I see it like this now, so don't worry. I'll check it out. Anyway, so this is really cool, but the thing is that, so here it says it's all okay, right? So, but if you then go to the next screen, then already you go into some issues. So here you can see that it actually has some problems with getting the connectivity going, and it gives you an error. And I've tried that like a few times, and I never get, then I get that one okay, then I got the other one okay, and the other one is wrong, etc. So it's a little bit buggy, and you really need to get the latest driver, and then it should be working. However, in all fairness, what I also saw on the website is that, you know, if it sometimes happens, then just, you know, you can just skip it. And you will see that during the whole installation process that I will be doing that quite some time because otherwise I will not go through that process. So next up is that you want to set up your the Oculus sensor, which is the tracking device. And because of that, it needs to know your height. Now you can do the metric system or the amount of feet, imperial system. And the reason why it does that is that it needs to know where your eyes are. And because that is also for the, you know, how to say that, the way everything looks, I forgot about the name. But it's so that it looks as if you're looking at it. That's also the reason why if you use a tracking, you actually have to put the tracking right at the same height as your eyes. that's the way that you look at it. That is really interesting, I think. Next up is that you have a zone where you can actually walk. And in metric system, it's 1 meter by 1 meter. Now, in this studio, I don't have 1 meter by 1 meter. And you will see that because I actually did exactly this by picking up the remote like this and going like this round and round and round. So that is exactly what you see here, me doing. So you can also see that I'm not perfectly square. That's because I'm not able to walk over my table, right? So that is really cool. But the thing is that you will find out that later it will actually say to me that it's not enough. And then you run into some issues, and I actually decided then that it would be better to... So this is the display here. You can actually see me doing that, and then moving all the way to the front, and it's almost done. And now it's a little bit of in nobody's land, and boom, that's it. And you see the yellow arrows? That's actually the part where you have to be. That's the minimum amount. And I just said, well, yeah, let's just skip it. So next up is to put on the glasses and strap it in the way that you like. So you actually have these nice bands here that you can just adjust. You can adjust the speakers. You can adjust the irises. You can do a lot of different things with it, and it really works very nicely. I have to admit. It is, even with my glasses on, it's really great. And the first thing that you do is that if you start with putting it... Oh, I didn't know that I made that mistake. If you put on your headset, like now, you actually get a green cross. And that cross needs to be perfectly aligned. So you have three vertical lines, 3 horizontal lines, and those need to be perfectly aligned, and then you can actually use it. Yeah, so I'm looking at Amy on YouTube. She says very geeky stuff, and that is really cool indeed. I also purchased the Apple AirPods 2 weeks ago. Amy says that's something else I just said in the pre-show. So that's cool. So yeah, I see them, Amy. Thank you. Going further with the installation. Sorry about that. Quick sidetrack because it's there. So the fun part is that you just put them on like so, and I actually put a tie wrap on now for it. So you just put them on like here, like this. And then you'll see the inside, and you'll actually see the inside in just a minute, right about now. So if you wait, there you go. So this is the first view that you have if you have the... Oops. Yeah, probably didn't know that was there. This is the first view that you have if you put on the lights, and of course you're going all the way to top and bottom and so, because it's all new, right? And the cool part is that you can see actually that your hands are really there, and you're actually holding the remotes in your hand, and you can actually see that. That's really cool. And you get some instruction that you can read, but there's also instruction that you can actually here, so you have to press the buttons, etc. So that is really great, easy to understand it. It's actually the cool thing about the remotes is that they are roughly the same as the PlayStation 4 remotes if it comes to the quality, but the way that they're structured, it comes so natural that you don't really need a lot of time to understand them. So, you can do a lot of gestures, like here. You can do a lot of gestures with them as well. So pointing or making a fist. So like this, you can make a fist, boom. You can fight, of course, or you can also point a finger. And the cool thing about pointing a finger is that you can actually, shoot, for instance, on these balls that you can see here. And this is really a first look at how you can use the virtual reality in there. And this is a very short demonstration, but now you go into another world, and now you really see what the quality is of the virtual reality. And actually, I want to go a little bit bigger for you, and I will go out of frame for a bit because this is really cool. So let's do that right here. Let's cut and then remove that. So here you see me in that world, and that world is really big. And actually, you're still in my studio, right? I'm not able to walk around, but it looks like it's way bigger than it actually is. So you can look around, you can touch things, you can actually do quite a lot. And there's this Wall-E kind of a robot there, which I really, really like. Hello. And it actually reacts to you quite. Look at that. He's reacting to me, and he gives me a disc, and there you go. And he gives me a pointer that, oh, I have to put it there, and then things are going to happen. And the cool thing is it all reacts. So I'm now putting the finger in a monitor, and then something happens again. And look at that. It also the box is reacting to it, and he is reacting to it. Oh, butterflies. So then you put it in a scanner or a 3D printer. And I'm just trying things out here. It actually is reacting to me, which I really like. I hope that you also like that as well. I know that Amy is commenting on YouTube, and I also see that. So that is really, really cool, I think. So going back to this screen, yeah, so I really, really like this. And they have definitely all kinds of different possibilities. You can shoot stuff, you can do all kinds of different things with it, but you get the grip. You're really in that world, and it really sounds and feels really perfect. So that is something that I would love to show you here. You see that it actually reacts to my hand, which I like. So I think that's enough for to get an idea on the possibilities. So looking at the installation process, I can just say that it is not straightforward. It takes quite some time, but once you get it working, it is really, really nice. I have been already playing with quite some other applications. Too much to talk about now, but for instance, even simple things like Google Maps, the 3D space is really cool. You can actually fly over a big city like it's, like your, in my case, Supergirl. And it's really, really, really cool. So I love that really a lot. So here you go, something else here, for instance. You can actually shoot fireworks. It's, of course, the last day of the year and tomorrow. So fireworks is possible, and it is really cool. So that's it for today. I hope that you liked this very short video. I know that I liked it. Again, I'm not all by myself because, of course, Kermit is also in the house. As you can see, he's